Hey everybody, welcome to episode 107. As you can see, I've got an microphone. I was going to get that Audio Technica and I decided not to. Well, it's not that I decided not to. I figured I'd wait on it because it's like $100. And I was waiting for a sale, but it didn't seem like any sales were coming. So I figured I'll see what else they had. I needed to get the arm and the cord and everything else. I had the, what do you call it? My son's audio interface. It's a PreSonus Audio Box 1. He's not using it at the time being. We kind of looking for a reason to use it too. So I figured I'd commandeer it a little bit here until he needs it back, and then I'll have to go get my own one. I'll probably get like the Behringer or maybe even that unbox one. Because they're not that expensive. I don't think it needs to be super fancy to do the trick. Speaking of which, this isn't super fancy. This whole setup, I got the arm, the cord, the the microphone cable, the whole 9 yards, including the microphone. It was $29.99. It's just Chinese junk. It's not like any name brand or anything. But it works. So I ordered it, and then they said, here's the $5 coupon that you put in your thing or whatever it was, and it came out to $24.99. So for the price, essentially, of a cord, I don't even think I got, like the boom arm I had, I think was like $19.99 in my wish list, and then I got the cord, which is like $10 for like the cheapest, like 6-foot microphone cable. So right there, we're looking at $30, right? So for the price, less than the price of those two items, I pretty much just got a free microphone. So I've got those pieces. So if I do, and if this microphone ends up detonating, just like you expect cheap stuff to do, I can just grab another microphone. I don't need all the rest of the stuff. Then I can invest in something like the Audio Technica or something. Maybe the Behringer has a couple of inexpensive ones that seem pretty good. But as you can hear, it works. So, I'm going to use that. I don't know if this is the best. This seems like the best place for it. I kind of put it out of the way when I'm not using it. I'm also trying to see how far away I have to get from the thing. So we'll see how it goes. But so far, I've got the headphones on so I can kind of monitor myself. I want to hear, if I start to drift or not. Other than that, I got this yesterday. I'm not gonna I wasn't gonna do an unboxing for it. I figured it's not super exciting. It's just a microphone. But I tried to get because the audio interface has an instrument port, a 1/4-inch instrument port. So I plugged my guitar in, and I tried to get it to work, and it wouldn't work. Which also reminds me, I'm also using what's this called now? OBS now to record my videos. Everybody said everybody uses the OBS, and my buddy was like, "Why don't you use an OBS? Everybody uses it." And I go, "I don't know, what is it?" I didn't even know. See, yeah, it's free. It's what everybody uses. I'm like, okay. So I went and downloaded it, got it. Took a little bit of a learning curve. I don't, it takes I was going to record a video today. I kind of spent the whole day and the evening trying to get all this stuff to work. I tried to do the picture-in-picture, which actually you can see right now. Sorry, got the picture-in-picture on. Wanted to have that in the beginning of the video, so sorry about that one. Yeah, so I figured out how to do that. So that's working. So I was using the my Logitech Brio. I was using the Logi Capture software that it came with, which is pretty simple. But then when I tried to use the microphone with that, it would only record in mono, which is like, okay, but I can hear it in stereo, so it's obviously working in stereo. So what's going on here? So when I tried it in the OBS, it worked perfect. So I was like, okay. And also, I had to really overdrive the crap out of it to get it to work in that program as well. So I think I'm done using that program for now, and I'm just going to continue to use this. This will be my first video with it, so, forgive the opening. I didn't have it on the right, because you got to switch the scenes here. It's just like the other ones, just different. So if you guys use OBS, you know what I'm talking about. But it seems okay so far. I can monitor my levels. But back to trying to hook up my guitar, I figured, oh, I'll hook up my guitar to it so I can play some guitar or test out stuff or show you how things sound, and you could hear it. I can use, I could use the various effects and stuff, processors and stuff to use that, and you guys could hear it, but I couldn't get it to work. It would not work, and I don't know what I'm doing wrong. So that's going to take some time to hash out. I'll probably end up getting it figured out, but for now, I'm not going to do that. It would have been great for today, because today I want to do an unboxing of this little guy I got, which is also kind of weird. It's so I've got the what do you call it? The Zoom BX1, which is for the bass, right? And it has the expression pedal built onto that. That's what the X means on, because the G1X is the guitar, which is this is just the G1, and this is the G1X. I found myself, I wanted the expression pedal just to use it, but I found myself never using it. I'm sure I could use it for the wah. I was like, oh, can I use it for a volume pedal? But you got to blow a patch. You got to blow one of the slots in your, in your pedal board to, because you only get 5 slots. So you had to blow a pedal for that. I'm like, I don't like that. I'd rather just use the other, because you want an amplifier emulator, you want a cabinet emulator. You need that, have to have that, the noise reduction pedal on there to take away all the crazy, especially when you got all these effects going. So that's the one I use for the bass. I just put it back in its box for now, because I was also wondering, it's like, okay, so this was a kind of a cool box. This came inside a box. I got this from Amazon. So when I ordered the G1, not the G1X, because like I said, I can always put these two together if I wanted to, and I got up to 10 effect slots. And then if I do want the volume pedal or a wah, I can just use the wah pedal on this and just use the expression pedal. I don't really need 2 expression pedals. Only got 1 foot on the right side. Oh, I guess I could do I guess I could do double pedal in it. But anyways, so, and the other thing is, this was also on sale. Normally these retail for about $125 or $110 with the expression pedal. I got this one, I think, on sale a while ago, and it was like under 100. And then this one here, just the one without the expression pedal, goes for $99.99. So, and it was on sale for, I was like 40% off, I think it was. So it was pretty cheap. It was like $69 or 60, less than that. I can't remember. Don't make me do the math, but it was a lot cheaper. And I was like, oh, that's, yeah. And the other one, the G1X, wasn't on sale. So I was like, well, I wanted the both, because obviously you can use the guitar through the bass one, but all the effects are set up, especially the cabinets and the amplifiers the emulators are all set up for bass. So this one's got like the Marshall stack, your Mesa Boogie, your Fender Twin Reverb, all the stuff that you want for a guitar is in this one, and including a lot more, a lot more drive pedals. And obviously drive's pretty much the primary pedal you're going to use on a guitar. You're either going to go clean channel, you're going to go drive, and it has a lot more drive pedals on this. It's just got a lot more pedals in general than this one. Now, when I say pedals, all of these are they're simulated. They're not the real pedals. So here's the thing. Remember obviously we went over the video, the Leo James Les Paul, right? Again, I don't want to keep harping on this, but I don't have a lot of money, and I'm not in a spot currently to where I can afford a lot of things. So that said, I've got to always look for the deal. I've got to get a deal, or and try to find stuff as cheap as I possibly can. And also, I can't go out and spend. I mean, just to buy a big muff, I'd love to have a big muff pedal, but just a big muff pedal alone is like $150. I mean, sure, you can get one on sale, but even still, it's still $100 probably on sale for a big muff pedal. So, but this one's got a big muff pedal. It's also got a Boss Metal Zone. It's also got an Ibanez Tube Screamer. I mean, these are all drive pedals that are pretty famous. Pretty much most of the biggest, most popular drive pedals, or just some pedals in general, but I'm specifically talking about drives, and then including the Marshalls. I can't afford to buy a Marshall stack with 4 12s and a 100-watt head. I mean, that's like you're talking like well over the $1,000, if not $2,000 for that. So not even more than that. So obviously I'm not. And where would I put it? And again, I live in an apartment. Where would I? How could I? Why would I buy such a huge amplifier if I can't even turn it up to 1, let alone to 11? But and I, like I said, I have no aspirations of playing in the band, and I have no aspirations of doing this professionally. Outside of talking about it online. That'll probably be the extent of my professional musical career. Will be talking about this stuff and talking about my hobbies. On YouTube once it's monetized. Then essentially I'm doing it for money. But until then, I'm not. I can't afford to spend all that. So if I want to play a Les Paul through a Marshall stack with a Big Muff pedal, these two things. I mean, the guitar and this, I put it through the headphones. Bob's your uncle. I'm set. And I love the sound of this. This thing sounds amazing. All the emulators just work perfectly for the bass on that, like the Ampeg SVT, and then the Big Muff pedal on it. I don't usually go a lot of heavy distortion on my bass, but even still, it sounds amazing on there. So I got this. And the other thing I noticed is this is how they shipped it. And they didn't even tape it, which is weird. So it sounds like it's okay in there. Which is weird. It's like it's the same box. It's not even a color box. Not that I have to have a fancy color box, but it's kind of weird that they did that. So maybe it's because it's the B1 or G1, not the G1X. Maybe the G1X has the fancier color box. But all right, let's see. Make sure it's in there. I don't know. I've got the paperwork. So I've got a warning. Don't use this in the bathtub. Okay, that's pretty much common knowledge. All right, looks like the guide has just a quick guide. This has it in other Durka languages, so I'll put the other Durkas over here. And then we've got I got a quick guide there, which is probably, it's the same as the other one. It's got the drum patterns, and it tells you how to do all stuff. That's what I'm going to do today is in this video. I'm going to show you how to use it. And I'm going to show you how to use the program online. Hopefully, I have trouble. Sometimes it doesn't want to read the BX1. Let's see what kind of luck we have with the G1. See how quick it reads it. Sometimes you have to keep unplugging it and plugging it back in, or at least switching the USB. I got a little big powered hub over here, which I have all my USBs plugged into. But yeah, it's kind of weird. It's you have to sometimes have to turn it on and off a few times. But these are the instructions, but I already know how to use it, so I don't really need to go over the instructions too heavily. If you do want to look at these without actually buying it, you can just go on Zoom's website. You can download these as PDFs and take a look, just to look at them and see if it's something that you would be interested in. It's got so here's all the different patches. These are the pre-recorded patches. The pre-programmed patches. So you've got clean and effects. You've got amp modeling. Oops, sorry. You've got. He could be my son. He should be getting out. He should be home from school by now. Oh, okay. Somebody else. Anyways. It's got drive and then drive and effects. So it gives you a bunch of the different parameters. Now, I'll show you how this works. These are all set up from like the first bank 1, then you got bank 2, bank 3, bank 4, then bank 5 are open slots if you want to put together your own patches, which is essentially assembling your own pedal board or your own rig. Really, it's not just pedals; it's cabinets and heads too. But these are like the ones that they already have. So they have like a Randy train, which is Randy Rhoads. It says here 80s metal sound. Again, unfortunately, I'm not gonna be able to play any of this stuff for you to see on this video. So I'm just gonna talk about how it works, and then I'll tell you, basically what you can do with it. And then as soon as I get my guitar working on here and do that, I'm going to go back and I'll do the bass too. I'll show you how these sound, how they work, or I mean, I'll show you how to work today, but I mean, I'll tell you how they sound so you can hear it better. I could even, I guess if I could, I could just record a pre-generated recording of me testing the sounds and then just play it on a second screen. I could do that too. I'll figure something out. But for now, um, I'm just looking at some of this stuff. Okay, let's get into it here. So here's the unit itself. I said unit. Warranty card, yada, yada, yada. Doesn't come with usually, you can get an effects list on the Zoom website, a PDF of it, just like the B1X. It didn't come with one. Yeah, so this is how it came. There's no foam in it or anything. I mean, it's got spacers, but I mean, it's just sitting in there. And again, this is the one without the expression pedal, so it's pretty small. It doesn't take up a lot of space, so if real estate is an issue, which it always is with me, you don't have to, you know, I mean, seriously, I mean, this is what's cool about these things is not only do I have access to, you know, thousands of dollars worth of equipment, it's all right here, you know, and I don't even have to have an amplifier. You've got, as you can see in the back here, you've got a line in for your guitar. You've got an auxiliary if you want to plug in like your computer or your iPhone or whatever and play music to it to jam along with it. You've got your, it takes just a regular 9-volt, I got the Zoom 9-volt for that one. I can use it for this one too as well. I find myself not using it as much because I just use the USB. So I'm going to hook it up to the USB here, not just to power it, but to so it reads on the software, so I can show you on the software on the screen. So that's what I kind of use, because I usually use setting on my desk anyways, and it avoids another, you know, plug I have to plug into the down there. So, and then you've got what's that other little guy over there? I can't remember this. I can't see it. Oh, sorry, I don't even have all my lights on. Alexa, turn on the floor light. Here's my fancy. Okay. It's my fancy light. Sorry, I'm not even set up today. I got all this new equipment, and I don't even have all my little studio set up for doing all this. So sorry, I apologize for all of that. Not that you wanted to see my my scab in my nose a little bit clearer, but there you go. So, and then you've got your output, you know, which you can, it's a 1/4-inch jack, so you could run headphones, and that's what I do. I just sit here, I set the thing on the desk, plug my guitar into it, I plug the headphones into it, I power it through the USB, so if I want to, I can still, you know, manage the stuff online with the software, and I can run an auxiliary cord from my speakers into here if I want to, you know, put music through it to play along with, and I sit here at my desk and just jam away all I want. So that's what I do with my bass. That's what I'll do with the guitar as well. So it's really nice, you know. Like I said, I don't have, you know, even if I had the money, you know, and I had a place where I could play it loud. I mean, you know, outside of just showing off, which I believe a lot of people do, just having you know, thousands of dollars worth of equipment behind me is kind of, there's no point, you know. Like I said, and of course there'll be the detractors. Oh, well, nothing sounds better than the real thing. Well, yeah, if you can afford it, more power to you. But I can't, so, you know, that's my logical, that's my fix. This is my poor man's fix. Just like my poor man's Les Paul is my Leo James. That's my fix for that. There's my poor man fix for Marshall Stack, Mesa Boogie, a twin, you know, a Fender Twin Verb. There's more on there. You know, all the pedals, Big Muff pedal, Wah pedal, Crybaby pedal, Boss Metal Zone pedal, Boss Metal Heavy Metal pedal, Ibanez 2 Screamer. I'm talking thousands of dollars of equipment for what I paid, just over $60 for this. So that's the way to go. So let's plug this puppy in and get it up on the screen here, and let's see if it I'll switch over so you guys can see if I'm having trouble with this. Just in case you encounter this too, I'll show you what you can do to kind of fix it. So just plug her in here. And these also don't have dedicated on and off switches. So pretty much when you plug something in, oh, by the way, it takes batteries too. I should have mentioned that. The other one does as well. I think it's 4 AA's, I think. The other one does as well. But the batteries go quick on it. So I suggest just plugging it into a 9-volt if you got like a regular pedal rack, or if you're doing with me, setting it at the computer wherever you do your stuff, you can go USB. So it's plugged in. I'm going to hit the USB here. Power's up. Sorry, my camera's not available. Okay, sorry. Sometimes it turns out here for a minute. All right. So we're in PC mode. Updating effect. Okay, it's working. So, like I said, I had to keep pushing on and off a few times to get my the BX1 to kind of read. So it's what it's doing now. If you guys can see that, it's just updating the effects. So it's getting all the G1 effects and putting those on there. So let it continue its little cycle. While it's doing that, what else can I tell you? Oh yeah, so I don't know what, this is the first time this has happened, and I don't blame Discogs or anybody or the seller, although using the United States Postal Service to send a record, I found a little iffy. But anyways, that Transformers the movie soundtrack is not here yet. It still says that it's in transit from Louisville, Kentucky, where it left the post office there, and it's in transit through the U.S. Postal Service, and it's been like 8 days or 6 days still in transit to get to Michigan from Kentucky. Okay, somebody's not doing their job right, or they've lost it in the mail. And the worst thing with the situation with this is, okay, it works. The worst thing with something like that is if it, like I said, I found the Transformers the movie, the original 1986 soundtrack, original pressing, sealed, unopened, for $20. And so in order to find a deal like that again, it's going to be pretty hard to come by to get something that fancy. So sure, if you're ordering from Amazon or whatever, sending you a new, it could easily be replaced for the purchase price. That's fine, and I'm sure I can get my money back if it did get lost in the mail. But the thing is, I want the album, and to find it for that price and in that condition is very hard to do. So it's kind of a throwback with that. So I kind of wish the guy didn't go with the USPS. I wish he would have went with one of the other ones, even FedEx. And but that's not. So I'm waiting to hear. I guess at some point I'm gonna have to call somebody or have to contact somebody. I've got the transaction number. Like I said, it's not a situation where they delivered it and somebody walked off with it off the porch, because it still shows that it's never been delivered. It's never been out for delivery. It's never been delivered. It's still in transit from Louisville, Kentucky to Michigan. So I'm assuming if I can get a hold of a human on the phone through USPS, I'm sure I could probably find out a little bit more than what it's telling me online. I just assumed it was just going to show up, and because these websites are never updated. Oh, by the way, this one did come, and it did show me the stop. It's the guitar. One thing I did not want to sit outside. The microphone showed me every stop until it got to my place. Also, the Zoom also did the exact same thing. So what was up with that Leo G? What's up with I don't know. Anyways, so let's get into it here. So again, I'll do that video when I get the dang thing. So as you can see, you've got over here, look at this, you've got all your effects. So it's pretty simple. Like I said, I just plugged it in, it scanned it, it downloaded all of the effects for this specific model, which are all the guitar effects for the most part, and in simulators. And so you've got your effects list here, and your dynamics, like your what do you call it, your compression pedals, and then even your ZNR, which is, like I said, that's you have to put that one at the end of your chain or somewhere in your chain. Usually at the end, you want that noise reducer on there. Because it just, when you stop playing a note, or if you stop even making a peep on that guitar, it is quiet, and it doesn't start playing anything. You can adjust the the level on how quick it kicks in, but it works quick. I mean, it goes lickety split. So there's that, and then of course you got your filters. So if you've got what are some of the filters here that they've got? Sorry, there's some wah. I don't know what some of these are, even. I've never even heard of them. And they're not the same as on the bass. the BX1. Or sorry, B1X. All right, here we go. So here's your drive pedal. So here's your Ibanez, your TS808, right? Pretty common pedal. And you've got your Echoplex preamp. Sorry if I'm still getting used to this microphone. So if I'm I'm not trying to do ASMR or anything. So, all right, let's see what else we got here. Echoplex. You've got your Gold Drive, famous Gold Overdrive boutique pedal. I don't know what that is. What else we got here? Some tube amp stuff. Your Brown Sound from Red Crunch. You got, okay, here we go. Boss Metal Zone. That's a pretty classic pedal. My son's got that pedal. I used to have it as a kid, or when I was in high school, but long sustain, powerful, low, mid-range. That's exactly what that pedal does. You've got classic fuzz. I thought there was a fuzz face on here too. These might be their fuzz faces. You've got, there's a lot of drives because it's a guitar. So you've got acoustic stuff. You've got, here we go. This is what I'm looking for right here. That's my favorite pedal, the Electro Harmonix Big Muff Pi, which is the, it's the big nasty, you want some nasty, dirty, big, I mean, really growly, really in your face distortion. I suggest the Big Muff pedal. I mean, you want to do like 70s sound, you want to sit there and play like Black Sabbath, or you want to play like, Deep Purple or something. You want that sound. Ooh, that's the pedal to have. And they've got the Mesa Boogie throttle box, which is a nice one too. You've got the. I'm not a huge fan. I know they're great, but I'm just not a huge fan of the Mesa Boogie. I just had I haven't had enough experience with them, so that's why I'm saying that. I can't actually make a decision until I was messed with it. But I've never really experimented or did anything with any of the Mesa Boogie stuff. I'd like to. Here we go. You got the Boss DS1. That distortion pedal is a classic. There's the Procat Rat. That's the one Hetfield recorded with on Kill 'Em All. Remember when he had, I don't know if you know the story, but he got a bunch of his guitar equipment. Basically all his equipment was stolen. The Procat Rat was one of the ones that went, and then he replaced it with the Ibanez Tube Screamers, which he uses on the Ride the Lightning. And then I think by Master of the Puppets, I think he was using the Mesa Boogie stuff at that point. Even though I'm not a huge fan of that Ibanez Tube Screamer, a lot of people swear by it. I find it to sound very tinny. Maybe it just takes some messing with, but I just found that it's kind of tinny to me. It's too it doesn't have any balls to it. I mean, it screams, hence the name, but I mean it doesn't have that low bottom end, which I'm a bass player, so a bass player playing guitar, so basically want as much bottom end as I can get in there. Where are we at? And it's like I said, you put that. The Big Muff is also on the B1X, and I've hooked up it into the B1X and ran it just through the Big Muff, and it sounds with that Leo James sounds amazing. The cabinets and stuff that you use in there are more like the Bassman and the SVT. That's more for bass. It sounds cool, but that's a little too much bass. I don't want that much bass on my guitar. I'd rather have regular guitar amp sound. So that's why I got this. One of the reasons I got this as well. Sorry. Drinky drink. All right. So where are we at here? You got the Zoom, let's see, you got the Zoom G5N output booster, the MXR distortion. I said I'm not going to go through every single one of these, but you get the point. Marshall Super Lead. Where's the JC? Oh, sorry, we're in the amps. Okay, so the JCM 800, the 2203 is probably the most common today. And again, if you want to buy one of those, you're probably going to spend like $1,500 just for the head alone, and you don't even have a cabinet yet. So this simulates it. So of course, I'll check that out. The Marshall Super Lead's also on here. You've got the JTM 45. I don't know what that is. I haven't heard of that one. There's the Fender 65 Twin Reverb, so that's on there. Another pricey piece of equipment if you were to buy the real one. It's got a Fender 59 Bassman on there, so it's got a Bassman on the other one too. I just find that the Bassman's a little too bassy. Maybe if I tried it with a different combination, maybe like the Ibanez Tube Screamer, run it through the Bassman. Maybe maybe the tinniness will get washed out a little bit, and then you'll get more of that low end bass from the bass head. And you've got a Fender 65 Deluxe Reverb, a Fender Tone Master. This one says UK. It's obviously you can tell they're probably going for a Vox, so you get like a Vox, this British combo amp. It's a Vox pretty much. And here you go. Here's your Mesa Boogie Mark 1. It's this for the combo amp, and then there's the Mark 2 or Mark 3. You've got a Bogner Ecstasy Blue Channel. Never heard of that one. A High Watt Custom. I've seen those before. Those are those ones you can like see the inside of the head on. Mesa Boogie Dual Rectifier Orange Channel. I was gonna say, are there any orange on here? Here we go. Orange Graphic 120. You know, it'd be nice on here. It doesn't show it, but if they had those, what's the one the dark? I don't want to say Dark Reaper. That's not what it's called. There's the dark something, and then there's the regular one. There's the little box, little small box that they have. I was watching a video of the guy. He was powering 412 Marshall, Marshall cabinet 412s with that just 100. I think it's a 10 or 15 watt little head. Said it does the trick. He says you really crank the sound up on that. For playing like a bar gig. There's an option. But here we go. So we got I was just wondering if they had that. Then I don't see it there though. I guess it would be under amps if they had it in here. Diesel Herbert Channel 2. Measureless. I know some of the stuff I might know what it is. It's just not ringing a bell. And here's your cabinets. So you've got your Marshalls, your Celestion speaker, 12 inches. So you've got 412s here, 412 GB, the green black speakers. I think I've heard of that. I'm not sure. I've spent a lot of time dreaming about equipment, so I've not used everything. I've used some things, but I've done a lot of wish book lists. Basically Christmas wish book shopping with a lot of. I used to do it with the Musician's Friend catalog back in the day. I used to get their catalog all the time. I did it with like Sweetwater, not Huber and Bree. Sweetwater is another one. And then, of course, Guitar Center. But now we got the internet, so we can just go out and look at other stuff. And I spend a lot of time on those websites dreaming. So I know about a lot of this stuff, but I've never used, like I said, the Mesa Boogie stuff. I'm well aware of this stuff. I've heard people talk about it. I've seen them on there, but I've never really messed with them. So I take it back. I think I plugged into a Mesa Boogie once at a Vola Music back on Van Dyke, like back in the 90s. And it sounded great, but it was also really expensive. Because I bought a Mexican Strat back in the 90s, a white Mexican Strat with a rosewood fretboard, and the guys who's selling it to me, he's like, yeah, here, let's go into the amp room, let's plug it in and see how it sounds. All right, so we plugged it in, and he says, plug it in here, we'll plug it into this Mesa Boogie, it'll sound great, and it sounded great. How much is that? Oh wow, that's a lot. In 90s money, that was a lot of money then. I hate to see what they cost now. So here we go. So you got all your cabinets. Obviously, if you like to go certain cabinet combinations or certain cabinet companies, you can do that as well. Again, to buy all this stuff that now you have at your fingertips is pretty remarkable, to say the least. You got all your modulations, your choruses, your tremolos, your phasers, your all that type of stuff. I'm not going to go through all of this stuff. I saw that there's an Eddie Van Halen Eruption patch, so I'm assuming that there's what's he uses the MXR, doesn't he? MXR phaser, or does he have his own phaser now or whatever? That's on here. I'm assuming that's in here, or at least a close variant of it. I think the Boss Super Chorus is in here. So yeah, you can get a lot of that stuff here is in here as well. It's pretty cool. And now look at this. There's the other thing is stereo chorus, right? everything's stereo on this thing. So when you plug in, I mean, obviously you're plugging in mono, but you're converting your signal to stereo, and you're going to get stereo out of the output. And if you put headphones in it, or if you put a stereo jack into it, it's going to come out in stereo. So you're going to get those stereo choruses are going to be in stereo. So all your stereo effects, you don't have to mess around with putting two of these out, and and running all this crazy spaghetti wire mess. Again, avoid spaghetti wire mess. Again, I'm not saying that this is by far better than having the real deal, having all the real deal, but again, I mean, I can't stress it enough. The cost, sorry, I just got water for a second. The cost, having the room for all this stuff, being able to sit here and jam away in an apartment with a Marshall stack, with a bunch of cool pedals and stuff, just running through your headphones. This is all I need. This little box that's sitting right here. And again, just like so far, I mean, all of this stuff. I'm not getting any of this stuff for free. I used my own money to purchase all of this stuff. Again, I always look for the deal, try to get stuff as coupons. I do my shopping to get the stuff as cheap as possible, or at least as possible at the time I purchase it. But no, yeah, Zoom's not sending me this. Zoom's not paying me a dime to mention this stuff. Leo James hasn't sent me anything. Taxon's not sending me anything. All these things that I'm talking about, which predominantly my YouTube channel is about it's just blatant consumerism. It's just a bunch of product, that I like and I enjoy, that I've interacted with throughout my life, whether it's old stuff, whether it's new stuff. All of this stuff is. But none of it's given to me for free, And like I said, I'm not in any position to even afford a lot of this stuff either. So again, that's why I'm looking for deals. So like I said, even though it'd be nice to get another revenue stream coming in with monetizing these videos, what I would really like is to get free stuff, But again, when you got something like this, and that you're not going to be buying all this stuff, the real deal, the real versions of this stuff, you're pretty much done at this point, unless there's something you're coming along that you want to just try out or something. Other than that, you got it all right here. There's not much left to buy. If I wanted to record this, whatever, if I recorded on get like Pro Tools or something, or Cakewalk, or or even buy like a Tascam makes digital 4 tracks and 8 tracks now, and they make all kinds of tracks. Let's go that route. I'm plugging in from this straight into the board to record that stuff. So there really isn't a lot of stuff to buy. Sure, you can buy 100 more guitars, but I mean, like I said, I just need one good guitar, and I personally like the Les Paul the most. And you need one good bass, and I've got a cheap bass, and I've got a semi-intermediate bass. So they're good for me for now. Again, I'm selling that Ibanez acoustic bass whenever I can get around to doing that. Whenever I want to try to get around to do this. But I'm gonna sell that as well. But again, so all right, McAfee, go away. Yeah, you got more effects here. You've got, there's pitch shifters, there's octave pedals, there's tape echoes, there's delays, there's all your different, reverbs, your room amps, your room reverb, your chamber reverb, your church reverb. I mean, you've got all of this stuff, at your fingertips. I mean, there's wah pedals. Obviously this one doesn't have the expression pedal, so I don't even think they even programmed it in here. Volume pedal as well. That one does. This one doesn't. You got a looper on here, and the looper on here is pretty nice. I mean, you can loop some pretty good, make some pretty good loops. If you're just gonna want to jam with yourself, hey, I'm gonna play the rhythm to this song. You've got a drum machine on here as well. You can throw down, and it really works really nice. You pretty much just go into drum rhythm. You pick your rhythm, a rock rhythm, like 3 or 4 different rock rhythms. They've got different beats to it. You can obviously change your tempo. You throw down a rhythm. It doesn't have a fill button. I don't think it has a fill. It just says start and stop. So it's not super. It's not the best drum machine, but it's pretty good. Sounds good. But you throw down a rhythm with a loop, And then, hey, grab your bass real quick, throw your bass on there, loop that bass on with that rhythm guitar. Now you've got the whole band ready to go. All you need to do now is just plug in your guitar and start, shredding your leads and stuff over the top of it. So really nice, feature to do that. And I try to encourage my son all the time with this, and I encourage anybody else as well. Working with a metronome, fine. Click track's fine. Metronome's fine, but I highly suggest, if you're going to practice your rhythms, practice your timing, practice your timing, essentially, do it with a drum machine. Just pick if you're playing a rock song, just pick a generic rock rhythm. If it's got the, whatever they call it, the eight note beats. There's just programmed to 8-note beats. It's got like 5 or 6 different rock rhythms on there. If it's got a swing rhythm, whatever you're playing, country rhythm. I suggest, if you're going to sit there and practice, the part of a song over and over and over again, or practice a riff, try to get that riff down, I highly suggest using a drum machine over a metronome. For one thing, it sounds cool. And when things are sounding cool and you're like, oh, it sounds badass, and then it motivates you to get better, and you kind of has a psychological effect on you too. I found. If I was to record a track and wanted to use, record all the different instruments, and I just was using a drum machine, I'd probably get like a Lisa's, the DL one or whatever it is, which is like a classic one that you can get for super cheap now. That's on my wish list as well, and that one's programmable, and also says you can put triggers onto it too, and you can trigger the start and stop, and you can trigger the fills. And then you can do an intro, like you tap on the fill button and then hit start, and it'll start with a fill, and then at the end of every, if you got it set for whatever your time signature is, you can set it to at the end of a line to hit a fill by just tapping the pedal. If you want to sit there and just you just keep tapping the pedal, and it'll keep getting the fill, and then you keep going and go back into your rhythm. So that thing's a little more versatile. I'm sure there's other ones as well that do very similar things, but that's the one I'm familiar with. So I suggest, if you're gonna record a drum machine rhythm onto it, this is probably not what you want to use. But for practice and for doing some loops and stuff and just experimenting, this thing's awesome for that. So there is that. Let me just show you real quick here. I got where's the time on this thing now? Oh, it's down there. Okay, we're still doing good on time. So let's go to I can't remember how to do this now. Oh yeah, the editor. Okay, so here's your patches. These are your different patches. So again, like I said, there's a Randy Train, there's a Grunge Muff, there's a Dreambox, there's the Zeppelin one if you want a Jimmy Page sound. These ones are already made, and as you can see, let's grab like I'm just curious what they're using for the Jimmy Page one. So let's go on to the Jimmy Page one, hit editor. All right, now it's gonna pull up. That's your pedal board right there, or basically your chain. Starting from this side, so it's always going from left to right through your chain. So imagine your guitar is coming in here on this arrow. You're going to go through your stomp, there's EP stomp, and then you're going to go through this MS 1959, then you're going to go through a noise reducer, and then you're going to go into your 412s, which that's actually probably a good idea. After that's probably your best idea. Before you go to those cabinets, hit your, because you want the cabinets to not be limited in any way, so I would do that. I would put right before your cabinets, hit your noise reducer, which is your ZNR there. Then go to your cabinets, and then they got a tape echo on here too. So, and of course, all your different, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Actually, it should be 5, but this head usually has more controls, so they split it up. Because obviously, even like Marshall Stack's gonna have a whole bunch of knobs. You got everything on. You got, you don't just have your mid, low, and and high. You've got all these other functions on there. So, and as you can see here, you got your bass, your mid, your treble, it's a PR sync. Sorry, brain fart. I don't know what that is. You got your inputs. You got 2 inputs. So he's probably running 2. He's probably running 2 into that, most likely. One's higher than the other one. Then you got your overall volume. So, and he's coming from this stomp box here. So this is the Led Zeppelin sound. That's how they would make up this. And then also, if you click, I just realized I saw the tuner up there. If you click both foot pedals, you push them both down together at the same time, it's going to throw you into the chromatic tuner. So again, there's another added cost, added spot on your pedal board. You know, another that's another AC adapter that you got to run. There's more patch cables you got to run. Don't need it. And it's a bypass too. It's going to bypass all your effects when you hit that. So if you you can't turn your guitar down because you need to put your signal in there to tune it. But I think if you click down to it, it just takes it down to your raw sound. At that point, you'd probably want to, if you're doing this live. This is not the best live pedal because it's all plastic. And if you have this on stage and you're stomping around on this thing, you're probably going to end up breaking it. So I don't really suggest this for doing live unless you're one of those people that just sets the thing and goes, like as in you set it on top of, you don't even put it on the floor. You're setting it on top of your amplifier head or something, or some other, something off the floor. You could still get to it in controls on your hands if you don't really necessarily need your feet. Then it's fine. But if you're a stomper, you're constantly wanting to, turn stuff on and off. I don't suggest this. This, like I said, sitting on carpet on the floor with your sock, you're barefoot, you're fine, right? I wouldn't stand up on it, but I mean, you're fine. But again, I use my fingers. Because it's sitting right here. I've got my guitar in my hand. It's like, oh, boom, 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 boom. Just use my hands. So it's going to be fine in that purpose. So again, there's that one. Let's look up the Randy Train and see if he's got. Okay, so he's running his. Like it's really him. It's just emulating his stuff. So he's running. Here we go again. The chain is the guitar to, what do you call it? Your noise reducer, your noise reduction, noise gate, and then he goes into what? This EQ, which is a filter. And then he goes into his drive, which is using the Distortion Plus. I can't remember which one that is. And then he's going through this other filter here, this GT. See how it has more controls on it, so they spread them out over the dials. The thing about that is you got to remember, if you can do all this in this tiny little, LED screen on here, but it's really hard to do this. I suggest using the software as much as possible and have this up, even if you're just running it on a laptop or whatever, because it's so hard to do, and I don't even really know how to do that. I've read the instructions, and it's just pain in the ass to try to edit things and move things around in the actual LED screens. And again, you don't have... it's easier when it blocks it out like this because you just use your mouse and just use your dials here, and you can move. I think I know you can turn your banks on and off here as well with the mouse, and again you can do that just by clicking the little buttons as well. But you could turn the knobs here, but again you can just turn the knobs here as well. Like I said, I pretty much just plug into this. I turn it on and away it goes. I mean, I might use the drum rhythms and stuff. I'll hit the start and stop with the pedals, or if I want to throw it in a tuner mode, which you really don't need to, you can just hit that and you're in tuner mode too. But using the clicking everything through, essentially this is almost like an audio interface. It's just, you're just not really even using anything on this, it's just a box at that point. And that's how I use it. That's how well, I haven't used this one yet, but that's how I use the other one. Let's see what else we got here. Just curious. I'm curious to see. I know grunge. I know the Big Muff pedal got real big in the '90s with the grunge thing. What are they using for this one? Okay, so they're running the Big Muff here. Then they're going through this. Looks like the Fender Twin Verb amp here, and then they're going through 412s. I think it's a Marshall 412, one of the Marshall 412s, and then they're running there. So they're going after their box here. And like I said, play around with this because this is all going to be different. You can modify these if you want. I think you can copy and paste them. Yeah, you can clip them and you can paste them too. So, like I said, the different mags. You get 1 through 4, all these presets, and then you've got 5, you've got 10 empties here, right? And you're probably not going to use them all up. And you can create your own from scratch. Basically, it's you just go to your you got an empty board, right? You're gonna go into your type. You're gonna pull up. Let's say I'm gonna go with I want to drive first, right? Where's my drive? Drive, and then you know I want that big muff. So you're just gonna click the big muff, and there you go. You got a big muff. First one in your chain, and then you just click on your next pedal, and then like I said, if it's gonna drag it out to 3 or 4 different or two control knobs, or especially the heads, you know, the amps, then it'll click on more for that. But that's essentially how you do that. And then you want to save it when you're done, and you can save it as a name. You can call it, you know, whatever, you know, my guitar rig or whatever. You can give it a name. You want to name it for some. Maybe you have different songs. So like I said, you could even, you know, if you want to program in like 5 different sounds for 5 totally different songs you want to play, and you want different sounds for everything. I'm not really like that. I kind of play with what I like. I mean, I might do obviously clean channel, but if I'm gonna do like that heavy, cool distortion sound, I'm gonna try to play a bunch of songs like that. I kind of because I want to keep it in like and change up the style. You know, I don't need to put my have my Randy Rhoads patch to play, or my Led Zeppelin patch to play Led Zeppelin or Ozzy tunes. I would rather just pick one that sounds good or make my own. Usually I make my own. And I make my own, which I say, oh, I like this tone, I like this sound, everything about it I like. And then I just play all the songs that I want to play through that to kind of make it your own. Again, remember, it's all about making it your own. And I highly suggest that. Like I said in my video on how to play the guitar wrong. I mean, I'm being facetious in that video, obviously, but is pick these things apart. This is you are a musician, or maybe you're a dabbler or whatever. Make it your own. Don't just copy, because it's just like I want to copy a Jim Lee or a Todd McFarlane drawing, and I'm going to copy it verbatim, right? No, I want to take his drawing and I'm going to do my own thing with it. Same thing with music. Take a song that you like, that you want to play, that you can play. Oh, I'm pretty comfortable playing the song. Deconstruct it. Try something different. Play it at a different tempo. Play it with different instruments. Hey, this is how Led Zeppelin did it. I mean, they basically took hard rock versions of old blues songs. So just do the same thing. Maybe it's like, hey, I like these 50s surf songs, right? But I want to play them hard and dirty, very grungy sounding. Or I want to sound very almost like death metal version of surfer music. You can do that. That's a kind of cliche, but I mean, you can do stuff like that. So I highly suggest, making the stuff your own. And like I said, this is something you can do that with, and you can experiment stuff on the cheap, and hey, maybe one day when you've got the space and you've got a need for it, and you've been using the Marshall Stack emulator all this time, or you've been using the Big Muff pedal, and you say, hey, you found a deal on one, so someone's selling some used equipment. Maybe, Guitar Center is having a blowout sale. I don't think I have a blowout sale on their most popular stuff. But anyways, you know where I'm going with this. At that point, buy it. I kind of think about this as the same thing with the guitar, too. You really like a real Les Paul, and you got the money, and you want to go out, and you've been playing a Leo James for a couple of years, or 5 years, or 10, 20 years, and you're like, you know what, I got the means now, I'm going to go out and buy a real Gibson. Go for it. Do it. Like I said, I kind of treat this like a sample, almost. Like a demo, not a demo, but like, think about like the comic books, right? It's like, okay, I found a CBR of a comic book online, and I read it, and I really liked it. And I was like, oh, that's really great. I'd like to have this on hard copy, right? So then you go out and you buy the hard copy. But you didn't really want to go out and buy the hard copy right away, and you weren't sure if you liked it, but you read it and you really liked it, and it's something you want to own, and you're probably going to read it again. Same thing with this stuff. It's a sample. If you want to test this stuff out, you really like a fake Les Paul through fake Marshalls and a fake Big Muff, then it sounds great. Just imagine what the real thing's gonna sound like, you know. And then go out and buy it. You know, if you got the money and you can do it, go out and buy it. But this is a good way to get started with it. So again, I try to, you know, there's an option. There's a frugal option for everything, almost everything, and I try to take that at any time I can. You know, I try to think about what's the cheapest, easiest way I can get into whatever fill in the blank thing, and try it out and see if I like it. Right? You know, obviously the cheapest way to play a guitar is just borrow someone's guitar. That's what I did. I borrowed two people's guitar before I got my own guitar. You know, or borrow some. Maybe somebody's got a Big Muff pedal, you know, and they're like, hey, you know, you can borrow for a few months. All right, borrow their Big Muff pedal. You know, I borrowed what do you call it? Buddy's SVT Ampeg full, you know, cabinet and amplifier. I had that for a couple of years before he finally, you know, wanted it back. You know, you know, he probably paid an arm and a leg for it when he first got it. So, you know, I didn't buy it. I just borrowed it and I used it and played it, and, you know, I took it, you know, and used it to play in band, and, you know, and that type of thing. We took it and we had it sitting at where we jammed all the time, and, you know, we just used this stuff. And that's, you know, I didn't have to go out and buy an amplifier, you know. And then when he wanted it back, I wasn't really playing at the time. So, yeah, sure, come get it, but yours, take it. So he came, got it, you know. You know, I kind of miss it, but, you know, if I really want another SVT, you know, a real one like that, I'll have to look into buying one myself. But again, we're right in the back in the same situation we were before. Do I have the room in this apartment? Am I doing it full time or professionally to where I can justify spending the money? And, you know, yada 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 yada. No. But hey, I've got that amplifier simulated in here, and I can play it right here in these headphones. And I said these headphones are great. They, you know, they sound really good. These open ear headphones with the open exposed driver, it really sounds awesome. You know, it sounds like the real deal. So, all right, we're coming up on the end of this one. Again, you know, I apologize for not being able to play you the sounds or anything on this until I can get the rest of the equipment working. And I also, you know, I also apologize for, you know, all of the other, just trying to get used to this new setup here and see how it goes. I think it sounds better, probably, most likely. Tell me, let me go back to the thing now that I've figured it out. Tell me what you guys think. I mean, you know, do you like the new camera way, the new setup? Do you like that? Do you like the new sound of the microphone? I mean, obviously I'm hoping yes, because that's the way I'm going to be going from now on out. I'm not going to go back to the crappier way of doing it. So yeah, we'll see what happens with this. Again, you know, like and subscribe. The easiest way to help me get closer to monetization is to, you know, hit the subscribe button. Once I get 1,000, I should be set to go. I don't have an AdSense account yet, so I'll have to get an AdSense account going. Hopefully, I'm sure it's going to be a nightmare, and it's going to cause me lots of agita trying to get all that stuff set up, but we'll figure it out. And just like the thing, we'll figure out how to get the guitar in here and get all that stuff going. Figure out how to get that damn Transformers movie soundtrack be delivered. It should be a fix for most of the issues, so just got to fix it. Just got to put stuff to it. So, all right, barring that, I don't know what I'm going to do tomorrow for the video. I'll probably come up with something to do. Hopefully that album will come. I don't think it's going to come to. It's not here by now. I'm sure the mail's already come from the post office. So we'll probably do something else tomorrow. I might mess around with this rig a little bit this evening, see if I can get it to work again. Yeah, so I haven't even heard it yet, and I can already suggest it. Because I've got this one. I mean, this is essentially the same thing. It's just got all the bass stuff in it. I'm 100% satisfied with this for the bass. I'm assuming I'll be 100% satisfied with this for the guitar. So I highly suggest it for all the reasons I've been talking about. Zoom, if you're hearing me, you could send me another one. Hey, or send me some new Zoom stuff, and I'll do it. But obviously, nobody's gonna send me anything until, again, I get enough subscribers. So everybody else you're the ones that can make that happen. So I know I put the plugs at the end of my videos, which I shouldn't. I should put them at the front, because you're probably only going to watch 6 minutes of this video and turn it off before I hit an hour, which I'm just about to hit an hour in a few seconds. So I'm going to get going. I'm going to test out my video, make sure everything recorded, everything well. Hope the sound worked good. Hope all of that worked pretty good. All right, until then, I will see you on the next one. Bye-bye.